Mark Bayada. I doubt that the U.S. Rowing Adaptive Award would carry my name without Mark's support of adaptive rowing for over 30 years. Mark and I met in the early 80s, shortly after I had been elected to direct the Philadelphia Rowing Program for the Disabled, which changed names a few years ago to Philadelphia Adaptive Rowing. Mark at that time offered to sponsor our annual regatta, which we gladly accepted. It was a small regatta with about a dozen competitors. Today, 30 years later, the Bayada Regatta has become the largest all-disabled regatta in the world. Only at World Championships and Paralympics are there more rowers with disabilities competing. One amazing fact is that Mark has his employees and staff involved in the planning and execution of the regatta, and it always runs very, very smoothly. Talking about the regatta, at this point I would like to mention two other people involved in our regatta. There's Christopher Blackwall. Chris, rise up. Who in his role as Executive Director of U.S. Rowing started adaptive rowing in 1980. He also was my first rowing instructor and has been our MC at every Bayada Regatta ever since. Also, Paul Schuchster, our chief official for many years, pulls together and directs a great team of Philadelphia rowing officials. Thank you both. Eventually, we had dreams to have rowing included in the Paralympics. We negotiated with FISA, who after 6 years of international planning meetings, accepted our proposal to include adaptive races in the Rowing World Championships in 2002. It was very short notice. We had 2 months to pull a US team together and do all the fundraising. Without Mark's help, we would not have been in Seville. A few years later, we held a FISA International Adaptive Conference in Philadelphia. Again, Mark was the main sponsor. 10 adaptive rowing programs all across the US have benefited by Mark's generosity. He has bought boats for startup programs and competitive rowers. His commitment to adaptive rowing is outstanding. Without Mark and his wife Anne's critical support, adaptive rowing would not be where it is today. Mark will often say, "What can I do to help?" He truly means that. Mark, we cannot thank you enough.
Thank you, Isabel, and thank you for everybody from U.S. Rowing for this humbling award. 32 years ago, Isabel inspired me with the other rowers that they could be on the river, leave their wheelchair on the dock, leave their anything, and they're all adapted with the dock, and be called, the name of the program was Freedom on the River. And they had a competitive spirit, a will to improve. So if each of you competitive athletes know the spirit you have, I think that they have doubled because they're overcoming so much more to really be competitive and to work. I want to thank my wife Ann, who's been an undying sponsor of the program. Chris Blackwell from Philadelphia, the former executive director of U.S. Rowing, who started adaptive rowing in the United States. Stand up, Chris. Jeff McGinnis, who's now head of the Philadelphia Adaptive Rowing, right? Paul Schuchster from the Schuylkill Navy. We have the finest officials of any regatta, I feel, in the country. And everybody here from Philadelphia. I feel Philadelphia is the premier event. Let's hear Philadelphia, yes. And all you Philadelphians, we're looking for a community boathouse, like some some of the other cities. We're a premier city, and we're trying to get a community boathouse. So we're looking for all your support as the next months and years go by, so we can end up with the best community boathouse in the country and possibly the world. Thank you so much for this, and for supporting adaptive rowing. Thank you.